this time. There's three truck battle for the lead as they come up on a couple lap trucks.
Luis is definitely not going to let him in. He'll take Aaron Smith to second. He's going to take him 3 wide down to the line.
DeWeese tries to go block.
Luis quick. And here comes Chris Smith off turn number 4. Wesley Pistol might have a shot at the win here. Here they come to the line.
Oh, he gets to the back.
And Pistol.
Of James Ray there, desperate for a win, desperate to get back into the championship.
Oh, he gives him the bumper.
Evan Bianca's going to come through to win it. Coots hanging tough. Oh, Jones is loose. He's going to drive up into him. Can Coots hang on to it off the corner? Coots gets it.
If it's Tuesday, that means Apex Energy Series racing from Slingshot Racing League. Welcome, race fans. I'm Ellis Thomas, joined in the booth tonight by Chris Smith. We're bringing you live racing action in the Xfinity class cars from Phoenix Raceway for the UD Awards 150. In the heart of Arizona's Estrella Mountains lies Phoenix Raceway. Originally a haven for open-wheel racers, this desert jewel has evolved over 2 decades to become a battleground for stock cars. With its short backstretch and an enigmatic asymmetrical layout, including the iconic left-hand dogleg on the front stretch, this demanding 1-mile circuit has beckoned top-tier drivers since its inception in 1964. A legend was forged that fateful autumn day when Mario Andretti tamed an ancient front-engine Offie Roadster Indy car around this treacherous track, catapulting him to greatness. And in 1988, the rumble of NASCAR engines first echoed in the Valley of the Sun, and it discovered that Phoenix Raceway was as formidable a challenge as any. The roll call of NASCAR victors here at Phoenix is a who's who of stock car royalty. Jimmy Johnson, Jeff Gordon, the Earnhardts, Bill Elliott, Tony Stewart, Mark Martin, the Busch Brothers, and the list goes on. In 2012, however, Phoenix Raceway underwent a radical transformation. The backstretch expanded while the dogleg was pushed outward by 95 feet and a new 500-foot radius. Turns 1 and 2 saw a banking change, as well as 3 and 4, and the road course completely vanished from the track where it was an oval-only facility. Chris, Estrella is the Spanish word for star, and the mountains were named by the Spanish explorers possibly because of their distinctive shape or appearance on the landscape. We've got several drivers tonight who might be able to shine bright like a star, including potential frontrunners in practice like Jacob Bradley, Justin Wilson, Scotty Sobczak, and Johnny Rapp. What are they going to have to do if they're going to make it to victory lane here in Phoenix this evening?
Well, they're going to have to conquer a very unique track, arguably one of the most unique tracks on the NASCAR circuit and on our slingshot schedule here. You mentioned it, Ellis. Both ends of the track are completely radically different from each other. The front stretch has a unique feature to it that most tracks do not have, and so we're going to see them fan out 3, 4, maybe even 5 wide down the front stretch on these restarts. We got about 78 laps on a tank of fuel. It might vary between 78 to 83. So we do expect there to be a pit stop around that time if we don't have any cautions. Lap 60 is the first stage break, and 150 laps around this very challenging track. They're going to have their hands full, that's for sure.
It is going to be a big challenge for drivers. Lots of tire degradation over the course of the evening based on what we're hearing from the drivers we talked to in pre-race. Chris, let's go ahead and do a slingshot racing pre-race tradition. I know our fans love it. They love to hear the national anthem. So without any further ado, we'll cut to the national anthem, and we'll be back with you on the other side of this break. We are back here in Avondale, Arizona, here at Phoenix Raceway. Ellis Thomas joined in the booth by Chris Smith. Qualifying is underway with just about 3 minutes left. Every week, we like to catch our viewers up on kind of some stories to follow over the course of the race. So buckle up. We're going to go ahead and cover some stories for viewers to keep an eye on. Chris, the first one that comes to mind right now are the points. You can see them on the screen there. Jacob Bradley definitely increased his lead over the past couple of weeks, but Justin Wilson nipping at his heels. This could be anyone's game. With stage points at play, 39 points is not a huge gap. In fact, 100 points separate first through sixth, 9 races into the season. So lots of opportunities for drivers to claw their way back up through the field. Patrick Colby with a win. Chris, last week, is hungry for another one. Rye Jones is definitely maybe the hungriest driver in the field for a win. He's had a great season. He's third in points, but he hasn't gotten the win yet. So we'll be keeping an eye on him tonight as well. Other stories we're going to be taking a look at, Chris, the track itself. You had mentioned just how difficult this track was to get around. It's a unique track. What makes it so unique?
Well, I have to think about it because I'm used to it being the other way around, but turns 1 and 2 are completely different than turns 3 and 4. 1 and 2 is like a flatter, longer, sweeping corner, almost kind of like Milwaukee in a way, whereas turns 3 and 4 is something like completely different. It's a lot sharper radius. There's a lot more banking down there on that end than there is in 1 and 2. So on top of that, you've got the big dog leg. We mentioned right there as part of the keys, use the dog leg with a question mark because it is a little bit risky. Car gets a little bit unsettled when you hit the flat part of the apron down there. So going to be curious to see if people use it right away. You can't count on people to use it. It might have some miscommunications between drivers going down there and drivers not going down there.
Yeah, and it can be really dangerous. I know I've fallen victim to a guy going down in the dog leg and popping up like I wasn't there, and that can happen. We'll be on the lookout for tonight. That dog leg can be dangerous, so drivers going to have to be really careful down there. Speaking of drivers need to be careful, Rye Jones, man, he has been a driver that we've seen get into trouble in past seasons, Chris. He's had a lot of speed in the past. This season, though, he's putting together some very, very consistent finishes. It's propelled him up to third in the points, and we've seen him be around at the end of the race more this season than any other season in slingshot racing. So Rye Jones going after a victory tonight. What has impressed you most this season about Rye Jones, Chris, compared to
if he's got about 4th or 5th place speed, he doesn't try to push it and get that 3rd spot. He's still aggressive, and he still goes after it, and that's what we like to see. But I think that he is taking what he can get, and I think that's why he is as far up in the points as he is this season.
Yeah, and you mentioned in this last story, rebound after Dega. Rye Jones is definitely going to be one of those guys who wants a rebound after Talladega. A bit of a hangover for several drivers that got caught up in incidents, like Josh Ward, Evan Pienta got caught up in an incident. Steve McDonald, who's been so consistent over the course of the season, got caught up in an incident. A lot of drivers, Chase Berry as well, looking to get back on track tonight here in the desert. Speaking of on track, drivers are on track now after that qualifying session, and we're going to go ahead and cover the starting grid here to set this race up for the viewers. The winner of the Evan Pienta Designs Pole Award, Chris, Jacob Bradley. He's got a handful of them this season, and right now he's definitely in contention for that free paint scheme consultation with Evan Pienta Designs, who does a lot of the paint schemes for our drivers. Driver with the most pole awards at the end of the season is going to win that award. So right now, Jacob Bradley looking pretty good on that. But Chris, his teammate, Randy Bechtel, starting in second. We've seen Randy have a good string of races here the past 4 or 5 weeks. So looking to work his way up points even more tonight. Justin Wilson starting third. Rye Jones, the driver we mentioned just a few moments ago, starting in fourth. Johnny Rapp starting in fifth. Chris, all of these top 5, it's a top 5 payday qualifying effort here for those payday racing drivers. Evan Pienta starting 6th. Jeremy Gardner, great finish last week at Talladega, is going to be starting in the 7th position. Scotty Sobczak starting 8th. Josh Ward looking to work his way back after a wreck at Talladega last week, going to be starting 9th. Sean Johnson, a new driver to Slingshot Racing, going to be starting in 10th. Really good qualifying effort for his first time out. Dan Rowe, Chris, he's going to be starting in 11th in that number 68 car. Scott Tompkins going to be starting in the 12th position in the 25 Pawlacki car. Chris Pierce in 13th. 14th is Wesley Pistol. Ryan Hinkle is going to be starting in the 15th position. Dan Berg going to be starting 16th. Steve McDonald, we mentioned the driver of that 6 car looking to get back in good form tonight, starting 17th. Jacob Chase 18th. Patrick Piper 19th. Lee Campbell going to be starting in 20th. The rest of the drivers are going to be scrolling across your screen as we get set up for the start here, Chris. A couple pace laps going to happen here as Jacob Bradley comes to the line here. Pace car's already off. Going to get ready to take the green, not on the backstretch. Pace car comes in just a little bit early, a little bit different from other tracks, Chris, but right now pace car is off. Jacob Bradley is pacing the field. They're going to head down into this dog leg as they get ready to take on the green flag. Green's in the air. Jacob Bradley's going to lead the field off and start the UB Awards 150 here at Phoenix Raceway. A couple drivers take the dog leg, headed down into turn 1. Bradley and Wilson are those drivers. Randy Bechtel right behind them. Johnny Rapp and Rye Jones in 4th and 5th with Evan Pienta and Jeremy Gardner back there in 7th position. Jacob Bradley, pretty good lead so far early on, looking pretty good, rolling through those corners really well. Getting ready to complete the first lap here at Phoenix for Slingshot Racing League and the Apex Energy Series. Single file, top 4 drivers right now. A couple moves going on further back in the field. That looks like Johnny Rapp on the inside of Evan Pienta. I believe Pienta's working that outside to see if he can get by the driver of the number 52. Chris, what do we make of the lines drivers are going to be running tonight? Do you expect to see drivers make use of that outside line like we just saw Pienta?
You can possibly do it to hold somebody off. It can be very, very difficult to complete a pass on a driver who is attempting, to utilize the high side. So sometimes those drivers can keep people pinned down on the bottom, and it's hard to get that run up off the corner if you're trying to pass on the inside. So I think we'll definitely see it here tonight.
Yeah, a lot of these guys have figured this out. Right now, Jeremy Gardner looking to make a pass, and this is going to be for the 6th position on Johnny Rapp. 5-car looking to the inside there, Johnny Rapp. You mentioned the momentum that you carry off the corner, but that dog leg is no match with Jeremy Gardner getting a good bit of distance on the number 52. But Johnny Rapp's going to fight back here in turns 2, 1, and 2. You see that momentum he's carrying onto the backstretch here. going to fight him off for now. Lap 4 in the books here at Phoenix Raceway. You're looking at the top 5. Jacob Bradley is your leader. Justin Wilson second. Randy Bechtel third. Rye Jones fourth. Evan Pienta sitting in the 5th position. Looking a little further back through the field, you've got some action going on between Wesley Pistol and this looks like Patrick Piper in the 38 car. This is a battle for the 15th position. Wesley looking like he was going to try to work his way by Patrick. If I'm looking at my telemetry, that might have been Patrick going ahead by the number 7 of Wesley Pistol in that Tennessee Volunteers car. Wesley started in the 15th position. He is back. Actually, he started 14th. He's back to 16th. So the driver of that 7 car getting settled in, losing a couple positions early, but we've seen him fight back. Wesley is one of those drivers, Chris, that he finds a way to be there as the race goes on. He might not be starting up front, but he definitely is able to work his way up through the field as the race goes on. So we'll be keeping an eye on the driver of number 7 as they work their way by Ryan Hinkle in the number 19. Ryan losing the spot there for Piper in the 3rd row.
Yeah, Ryan is. I saw him really high a couple laps ago, and I don't know if that's by design or if he's just having a little bit of trouble with the handling of the car. Let's watch down here on this end. Yeah, he's a lot closer to the bottom down here. So, yeah, I think that using the high side, I think the way that we'll see it is we see these guys.
Driver really loose. Jacob Chase, sorry, off the dog leg. He took the dog leg. He got really loose, not too far out behind these guys. Sorry, I saw that out of the corner of my eye.
It's all right. Yeah, we're watching it right here. Yeah, that shows you right there what the dog leg can do. It looked like he got loose when he was coming back up onto the track. Hit that flatter part, then came back up on the baking, and yeah, it stepped out on him, and that can happen.
And it's going to cost him several positions. Like it's going to cost him at least 8 or 9 positions. We'll see where he lines up after. He kind of gets his sea legs back underneath here. But Jacob Chase, fallen victim of that dog leg early, back to the 26th position for the driver of that number 43. Looking for a good finish tonight here at Phoenix, working on Nick DeCesare there in the double zero car. Looking through the field, see some other close battles. Looks like Paul Thomas already going a lap down. He might have had some trouble maybe a couple of laps ago. Double driver's going to go by on the inside of Thomas. Steve McDonald working his way by Lee Campbell for the 18th position. This actually might be Lee Campbell working over Steve McDonald for the 18th position. I'm looking at my telemetry and timing right now. Definitely Lee Campbell's got a little bit more speed back there going for the 18th position. See if he can work his way over on Steve McDonald, who's giving him a little bit of room there on the inside. And it looks to me like right now that 14 is just rolling through the center of the corner, Chris, just a little bit better than that number 6 Castrol car of Steve McDonald.
Yeah, he's just getting back to the gas a little bit sooner. Looks like he's also backing up the corner just a little bit more. And like you said, just rotating that center just a little bit more. And that's on a track like this, man, that is exactly what you want to do. You want to be able to roll the center of the corner just like that. And Lee Campbell's doing a real nice job. Now, he charged corner entry that time, just seeing how much ground he can make up. I don't think you want to do that too often because it does wear out the right front tire here by doing that. But yeah, he's looking to get past this 6 car. Be curious to see, like, late in the tire run here, if we get a long green flag run to start out, where these guys are at later on.
Yeah, absolutely. Right now, all eyes on Jacob Bradley. He is your leader. He's jumped out to about a 2-second lead on the rest of the field. Justin Wilson running second. He's got Randy Bechtel in that number 51, not far behind him. And Chris, it is a long line of cars. It feels like Randy and Justin might be the Pied Piper right now, leading those other cars around the track. You've got about second all the way through 11th or 12th stacked up on top of each other, just within about a second and a half of each other. So I don't know if that's a byproduct of Justin or Randy maybe being a little bit slower. Looking at lap times, everyone is just about near even with each other. Everyone's running the 28 eighths and the 28 7, so pretty close up front right now as we watch Rye Jones in the number 91 try to jump inside of Randy Bechtel. Not going to work that time. Trying to use the dog leg to his advantage. We mentioned the dangers of that. You can get a little bit of time, but it comes at a cost of potentially upsetting the car when you come back onto the surface, like we saw Jacob Chase fall victim to early on right now. 15 laps in here at Phoenix Raceway for Slingshot Racing League in the Apex Energy Series. I'm Ellis Thomas, joined in the booth by Chris Smith. Got a nice little battle going on between Jeremy Gardner and Johnny Rapp here. Gardner on the inside, Rapp on the outside. This is a battle for the 6th position. Both of these drivers kind of holding serve with where they started the race. Scotty Sobczak working on the back bumper of Jeremy Gardner there as well. Jeremy and Scotty had great finishes last week at Talladega, so looking to continue a little bit of momentum headed here into Phoenix. So I know we got John Rapp watching the race as well. Johnny's dad. Just looking to see where Johnny finished last week at Talladega. I think he had issues in the closing laps as well, so not walking away with the finish that he would have liked.
I think he actually got knocked down on the apron, made a nice save there, coming to the white flag, and kept the pack together for that great finish that we had.
Yeah, it really was a great finish between several drivers, Patrick Henry and Justin Wilson. We watch Jeremy Gardner right now working his way over on Johnny Rapp. He's been at this for a couple of laps. Johnny's held pretty tough on the outside. We're going to see what happens here as they head down into turn 1 and 2, because right now a pack's catching them. Josh Ward's kind of crept into the picture, Chris as well, and you got 4 cars. You could throw a blanket over the top of these 4 drivers. They are so close right now, headed down into turns 3 and 4.
Yeah, just behind these guys, gaining on them is a guy making his slingshot debut, Sean Johnson, running P10 tonight. Very impressive in his very first slingshot race.
Yeah, absolutely. Going to look to make it a little bit better right now. This battle is not settling down, though, for the 6th position. Now Josh Ward has kind of leapt into it. He's taken over 7th, seeing if he can take 6th from Johnny Rapp, or 6th from Jeremy Gardner, rather. Johnny Rapp giving up that 7th position to Josh Ward. He's back to 8th. Scotty Sobczak's worried about Sean Johnson in that number 32 behind him. And then Scott Tompkins in that Pawlacki car. We've seen Scott win earlier in the season at Bristol. Technically a short track, but I don't think these tracks are anything alike. We're looking to channel some of that success into a good finish tonight.
I think that Scott won at Auto Club, didn't he?
Oh, Auto Club. Sorry, I was thinking about Chase Berry. My apologies.
That's okay.
I get the black and blue cars confused a little bit.
Yeah.
They both got 5 in there as well. So
That's right. That's right.
good,
So,
you know, Auto Club definitely same part of the country, but definitely not the same as Bristol. But Scott doing a pretty good job tonight, sitting in the 11th position. His teammate Dan Rowe back there in 12th position, doing a pretty good job. I know Dan's not had necessarily some of the finishes that he would like to have in recent weeks. Started off really consistent, looking to get back on the board as well. Looking to see where he finished at Talladega last week. I had the finishing order up a second ago.
And while you do that, I did not expect this out of this car tonight. He did not have the best of speed in practice, but he has really turned it on since the race started, running really close to the top 10 here.
Yeah, doing a really good job. Dan looking to get back on track. In fact, I think he might not even been here last week. Yeah, I think he missed last week, not showing up on my roster for last week. That's probably why his average finish went down just a little bit. But doing a really good job working on getting that back up tonight. Right behind him, Chris Pierce in the number 13 Apex Energy car, doing a really good job. Chris is a guy that I've just seen improve so much over the past couple of seasons. You know, he went from a guy running, you know, outside of the top 10, you know, generally maybe top 15 regularly. But right now, we've seen him this season put together some top 5s. We've seen him put together a good set of top 10s as well. And he's knocking on the door of another one tonight, sitting in 13th position right now. So Chris Pierce doing a really good job. Does all the graphic work that you're seeing on the screen right now. All these overlays are produced by Pierce Graphics, and Chris Pierce runs that company and just does a masterful job. So we're grateful for him as one of our partners. So yeah, right now 150 laps are in order tonight. Right now we're 24 laps down. Chris, I'm not a math teacher, but I think that's about a sixth of the way through this race. We talked about stage points being awarded at lap number 60. And those stage points can make a huge difference. Right now, Jacob Bradley going to rack up the most if he continues to lead the field tonight. So if you're a Jacob Bradley fan, let us know in the chat. Let us know who you're rooting for in the YouTube or Twitch chat right now. We appreciate all of our viewers already telling us what a good race we've got going on. Lovely days. Don's in the chat. John Rapp, Daniel B's in the chat. AF Pops and Speed Strat, as well as Twisted Logic, are here. Appreciate all of our regulars joining in. If you're watching on YouTube, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. And go ahead and hit the like button if you like what you're seeing as well. Watching on board, we have the Rye Jones working over Randy Betzel for the 3rd position right now. Just looking at their speeds. Last lap, Randy was considerably faster, but overall, they've run the exact same best lap time of a 28.1, Chris. So these cars evenly match as we watch the 91 trying to set up the pass on Randy Betzel here on his inside.
Yeah, and we'll see if Randy concedes the position or if he tries to say side by side. He's going to say side by side. It's hard to complete a pass here. I'm telling you.
Yeah.
Like with the way that you can get the run off the corner here.
Yeah, Randy going to cede that position. Eventually had to give it up with Rye Jones. Really getting a good run off of the corner, heading in dogleg. Because I've seen that 91 down at the bottom of the track all night long. And, you know, out of all the guys that I would expect would be down there, Rye Jones is right at the top of the list. So he's doing a really good job tonight, making use of that dogleg. Started 4th. He's up to the 3rd position. So right now, just looking at my numbers, we are roughly, we said pit stops are going to be somewhere around lap 78. We're about 50 laps away from pit stops, so that's a good ways off. And we've talked about tires in the pre-race. These drivers probably starting to feel a little bit of wear on their tires, and we were told that the right rears were getting driven off pretty early on, so these drivers probably going to start to get a little bit loose. Seen several guys going, getting a little squirrely in some of these corners here, so we'll be keeping an eye on that.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm not surprised at all to hear the right rear tires are giving up here, especially this car, this track combined. That doesn't surprise me at all, and especially with the sun being out too. A lot of times you see this race at night, but I think it really makes the driver talent shine a little bit more racing here during the day.
Absolutely, and driver talent's on full display right now. Battle for the 18th position, Chris, between Steve McDonald, Danberg, Patrick Colby, and Lee Campbell. This is a good little jaunt we have going back here in this battle for 18th and 19th position. Patrick Colby, last week's winner, up 9 positions already after starting near the back of the field. He's worked his way up to the 19th position. Lee Campbell trying to get by Daniel Berg as well to get back to his original
Lee
starting
Campbell
time.
sideways.
Lee Campbell into the wall sideways.
Yeah, it's the dog leg, I'm telling you. Oh, well, never mind. He just barely clipped it with the left front.
It's the dog leg. It's the dog leg and the commentator's curse.
That's right. Yeah, it's just treacherous. It's really, really treacherous. He didn't hit it as hard as others did. Other people are going way down there, but he just clipped it with the left front tire, and a lot of damage to that number 14 Goodyear Chevrolet.
Yeah, that is going to be heavy damage. I would imagine that's going to take a good while if he wants that car to feel anywhere near drivable again. So right now, Wesley Pistol and Patrick Piper back with each other on the track. This is for the 14th position. We see Wesley in 15th working over Patrick Piper. But Wesley working his way back up through the field after dropping a few positions earlier on. This is something we mentioned. The driver of the 7 has become pretty good at is staying steady and just relying on long run speed. We see him get a little bit loose off the corner there as they head down the backstretch into turns 3 and 4. See him close up there a little bit different line between the number 38 and the 7. It looks like the 7's taking a little bit earlier entrance into the corner. He's shaving off a little bit of distance, but he loses it on exit.
Yeah, he's really rolling down here in 1 and 2 really well. That's what you want to do. You see some drivers in real life here down in 1 and 2. They'll run the flat part of the track down there to try to loosen the car up. This is one of the, iracing tracks where you really can't do that.
Close there between those two drivers.
they get close together. You really can't do that here down in 1 and 2. You can't really get a speed advantage by doing it. Like, you might be, like, you see Wesley right there. He just barely touched it, but he's back up there. You'll see drivers in real life running all 4 tires down there.
Yeah, it is. It's better them than me. That's all I can say right now. This is a battle for the 14th position between Patrick Piper and Wesley Pistol. Looking through the rest of the field, looks like we got some close racing going on in the 23rd position, Chris, between Chris Blassett, James Suggs, and James Danforth. Suggs in that yellow woo-woo garage car. Right now, James Danforth in that 88, get to his inside, but James Suggs coming off a great finish. Chris, man, we had a YouTube short asking how many wrecks he avoided in the closing lap at Daytona to work his way up to third. And I think I counted 4 total wrecks he missed, 4 total cars, rather, that he missed coming across the finish line to finish third. So season's best finish for the driver of that number 20 yellow and red woo-woo garage car, James Suggs. Great job. Tonight, he's sitting in the 24th position.
He's going to look to continue that momentum tonight. He's got some traffic to get through to get there, but we got a long ways to go here.
So, speaking of long ways to go, hey, we got a new subscriber. Appreciate that. Speaking of a long ways to go, we got to pay the bills for the rest of the race as we watch the number 88 go underneath James Suggs. We'll keep an eye on this battle for just a second before we step away for a quick break. James Suggs working that outside line. We talked about how tough it is to complete a pass, especially we see Suggs carrying the momentum out of the dog leg there. They're going to work their way by Kyle Dewey in that number 33. Dewey looks like he's lost a handful of positions. I'm not sure if he got into the wall or just had a bad corner. Fighting his way back on the number 20 of James Suggs. I know we've got some Kyle Dewey fans in the chat right now. Let us hear it. Dewey's going to be in the wall. He's having some serious trouble. I'm not. He probably heard us talking about him on TV, Chris. I know it's the commentator's curse. It's not a joke. I thought it was a joke at first. I'm totally buying into it now, though, because that's 2 drivers we've talked about tonight in just the first 40 laps of this race who have gotten into the wall. We're about, let's see, pit stops coming up around lap 78. Stage break coming here in 20 laps, or at least stage points being awarded. Let's go ahead and step away for a break. But before we do that, I've got a trivia question for the viewers that they can think about while we're away at break and enter into the chat. Let us know what the answer to this question is or what you think it is. Who is the all-time winner in the NASCAR Cup Series at Phoenix Raceway? Who is the all-time winner in the NASCAR Cup Series here at Phoenix Raceway? Let us know who you think it is in the chat, and we'll let you know the correct answer when we get back from this commercial break. We're going to hear from our partners at UD Awards. How do we get these one-of-a-kind amazing trophies? Well, we were fortunate to find UD Awards when we started our league. We reached out and we connected with Christopher, and we got started designing these one-of-a-kind works of art. The process was easy from start to finish. After just a few revisions, we finalized each one of them, and the team at UD got to work building each trophy from scratch. They're a small team, but they've got the ability to do just about anything your brain can imagine. And don't worry, if you're not an artist, they've got an entire catalog of unique trophies in pretty much any material you can imagine. Wood, acrylic, glass, and in the case of last season's trophy, metal. The best part, they're affordable. If you're looking for a trophy for your event or league, the choice is simple. UD Awards can give you exactly what you want. All right, back here at Phoenix Raceway, Apex Energy Series racing from the Slingshot Racing League. Watching leader Jacob Bradley work his way through some lap traffic here on lap number 45. He's got Justin Wilson closing in ever so slightly. Justin's closed in about 0.8 of a second in the past 3 or 4 laps as Bradley's working his way through that lap traffic. It looks like he's got the most of it behind him, at least for the next couple of laps. Hey, we asked in the chat, who is the all-time winningest Cup Series driver here at Phoenix Raceway? We had a couple people put Kyle Busch, which seems like a logical answer.
Yeah.
Kyle Busch, good little racer here. Don Hilbrans, our resident NASCAR historian, says Kevin Harvick. So who is right, Chris?
That one's going to be Dawn.
All right, Don. Hey, even bonus points here. We're both teachers. We'll give out bonus points. Bonus points, Don. Can you tell us how many Cup Series win Kevin Harvick has here at Phoenix Raceway? Kudos to you if anyone can let us know how many wins Kevin Harvick has as the winningest driver here at Phoenix Raceway.
That's a tough one.
I
think I know it, though.
So, do you think it's double digits?
I don't think it's double digits, but I think it's very close to double digits.
All right, Don's thinking. I can see the thinking cap on. Don, you got about 15 seconds before we let you know. If anyone else wants to chime in as well, let us know. Right now, just recapping the top 10 at this point, Jacob Bradley is your leader. Justin Wilson is second. Rye Jones in that number 91 sitting third. Randy Bechtel fourth. Evan Pienta is fifth. Jeremy Gardner is sitting in the 6th position. Josh Ward, Chris, good run going for the driver, that number 57. He's up 2 positions on the evening, and Josh Ward is a pretty good short track racer. His average finish on short tracks in Slingshot Racing League after a handful of seasons is 8th, and he ran our late model series over the summer, so he's got some good short track experience, really putting that into action tonight. Good 7th place run going for the driver of that number 57. And hey, he's going to be working race control for us tomorrow night in our Super Speedway Fall Classic series that'll be airing on Wednesday nights, same time, 8:30 Eastern time. 5 different cars, 5 different super speedways, 5 weeks and 1 champion, Chris. It's going to be a great action-packed series starting tomorrow night. So
yeah, excited for that.
I'm very excited. Don, you got it right. Kevin Harvick has 9 wins at Phoenix Raceway as the winningest NASCAR Cup Series driver. So congratulations, Don. Good job. I don't have a prize for you tonight, but maybe next week. Johnny Rapp is in the 8th position right now, Chris. His average finish on short tracks is 7th, so he's doing Josh Ward 1 better, though, even though he's in 1 position behind Josh on the track. So Johnny Rapp, 7th place average finish here at short track. Scotty Sobczak is 9th, and Scott Tompkins is 10th. That rounds out your top 10. Sean Johnson, Chris, we mentioned, a newcomer to Slingshot Racing, is running in the 11th position. So we're glad to have him his first race of the season with us. But Scott Tompkins, looking at that 25.
Oh, he's sideways. Hang on to it, Scott. That was insane. Go back and look at that.
I'm telling you, the commentator's curse. That is 3 cars tonight. I've got some power going on here.
Yeah, we're right on board with him here, and you can see how, look at that steering wheel far to the right. He gets it straightened back out, though.
That is crazy.
He's obviously got a lot of rear brake dialed into that thing to get it to do something like that on corner entry. You did mention that the right rears are wearing out, so it might be that as well, and that just makes it angrier doing something like that.
Yeah, so right now we're about 25 laps away from what we expected would be, if it goes green, our one and only pit stop tonight. Drivers might very well look to split this in half around lap 75. We'll see if that becomes the strategy or not as we watch Jacob Bradley work his way around Nick DeCesare, putting him a lap down in that 00 car. DeCesare is running in 19th position. So right now, all but the top 18 have been put a lap down, and we started this race with 32 drivers on the lead lap. So this is a pretty blistering pace that Jacob Bradley right now is running through the field with, Chris. Man, he's got a full head of steam every single lap. Those lap times have really not diminished. hardly at all compared to the rest of the field.
Yeah, absolutely. And we brought up Justin Wilson looking like he was closing in on Jacob. Once Jacob got through that lap traffic, and then Justin came up on them, the lead that Jacob had kind of came back, and he's even extended it a little bit even. So these guys are running fairly close in lap times now. That lap right there, Jacob was a good bit quicker, but the lap before Justin was. So yeah, it's not. As Justin gets in the back of Patrick O'Toole right there, that could have been bad. We're right on board with Justin here. Yeah, it's almost like Justin thought that Patrick was going to give him the top, and Patrick just didn't quite leave enough room, or didn't leave as much room as what Justin thought he was going to leave, and they got together.
How much communication is there going on out there on the track? Are leaders generally telling lap cars where to go? Are lap cars kind of communicating where they want to go? What do we generally see from lap cars and leaders?
Yeah, I mean, I think that here, I mean, it's all like track and, situational, awareness. But I think that for a track like this tonight, lap cars are going to be given the bottom to the leaders. As you see Paul Thomas, going way high right here to give Jacob Bradley as much room as he can. So, yeah, I'm not surprised at all to see that. And, yeah, there's a good bit of communication that might go on. A driver who's leading this thing like Jacob Bradley or a lead lap car might just say, hey, I want to be here, I want to go there. You're not doing it all the time. I'm not somebody that communicates all the time to lap cars when I come up on them. It just depends on the situation, I think.
Oh, Chris Blassie in the wall in the number 15 car, running back in the 27th position. Blassie getting passed by Scotty Sobczak, a lead lap car. Blassie drove it into that corner a little bit hard and got into the wall. Drives it even harder down there into turns one. Chris, no matter how many times I've raced this track, I cannot for the life of me get these corners straight. So right now, these drivers are headed down into turns 1 and 2 towards the backstretch. And if you're wondering what we're talking about, for many, many years, this track used to be the opposite. So that long stretch that's straight used to be the front stretch, and what you're seeing with the dog leg and all that used to be the back stretch. We talked about how that changed in recent years, but Chris and I think a lot of other drivers still struggle to get that straight in our heads. So right now, 61 laps out of the way. Go ahead, Chris.
I was going to say, the winner of that stage right there, Jacob Bradley, getting a lot of stage points, racking them up here. You see the top 10 on our screen right now. Those are the 10 drivers who got stage points there.
First cars are going to be on pit road. Scotty Sobczak, just sorry to interrupt there, but Scotty Sobczak in the 9th position, headed towards pit road on lap 62, getting those stage points, and he wants no more part of these tires he's on.
Yeah, we saw Evan Pienta pit a few laps before the stage mark there, so Evan's electing to get on fresh tires quicker and not so worried about the stage points.
Yeah, and that's interesting because I think Evan came in, I'm just looking at my numbers right now. Evan came in on lap number 58. So I'm just wondering, is there any chance that Evan is probably looking for a caution later on in this race to make it a two-stop race, potentially?
Yeah, I think that's definitely his strategy. He wants to try to make up as much ground as he can right here on these tires, and yeah, I think that's probably what he's hoping for, what he's banking on. What I'm seeing though right now is this track does have a tendency to go green for a long time, and it's got a very green look to it right now, obviously, as Jacob Bradley is putting a whooping on the field.
Definitely putting a whooping. Steve Bradley in the chat saying Jacob is flying tonight. We could not agree more. 5 seconds up. Jacob Bradley is on Justin Wilson right now on lap number 64. Ryan Jones is your third place runner. Randy Bechtel having a great run tonight in fourth. Jeremy Gardner continues his string of great races. He's in the 5th position, looking to hang on to that top 5 tonight. Josh Ward has moved up to the 6th position. Scott Tompkins, we saw him get really loose earlier, and that number 25 is in the 7th position. Chris Pierce, has entered into the top 10 for the first time tonight, sitting in 9th in that Apex Energy car. We talked about how much he's improved over the course of the season. So great job to Chris Pierce. Wesley Pistol in 10th, Patrick Piper in 11th. Hey, I want to mention Patrick Piper in that number 38, Chris. He's sitting 11th right now. He has put together a great run the past 3 races. In fact, his average finish over the last 3 races has been 11th. So Patrick Piper in that 38, really running a good race tonight, continuing kind of a good chain of finishes. Talk to us a little bit. You're an expert driver, so we watch him take the dog leg there. You've been in this series before. You've raced with a lot of these drivers, and so have I. And how do drivers get hot? Is it a mental thing? Is it an ability thing? Because you can see a driver, run 15th or 20th all season, and then they start nailing top 10s, several weeks in a row. What makes the difference?
I think that confidence does play into it. Sometimes you just get on a good stretch, a good streak, and it doesn't feel like you can do anything wrong. It might just be, look at the schedule, like where you have, a lot of good tracks for yourself in a row. I think that confidence does play a role.
It's out right now.
Oh, Scott Tompkins.
That's Scott Tompkins in the 25. We're going to go back and see if we can see what happened to Scott.
Let's go back here. We saw him very loose before.
He's on the back stretch.
Yeah. Looks like
he just got loose.
Oh, there was some blinking going on. He disappeared on my end.
Yeah, manually disconnected. I'm not sure what happened there.
Yeah, he blinked a couple times there. I don't know if maybe there was contact. Kyle Dewey was the next car behind him, so I don't know if they got together because of what was happening there, but...
we saw that 25 parked in the wall down the backstretch, which is definitely not what you want to see.
Yeah, that connection issue. You see it right there. Not sure what happened. If yeah, that's very odd. Obviously connection-based.
Yeah, it's going to bring several drivers down pit road. It's going to bring our leaders down pit road here on lap 69 of 150. Chris, I would imagine this is bad. Well, I say it's bad news for Evan Pienta. We see how many laps he went down. I think it's not going to be, certainly not going to be an advantage for those drivers like Scotty Sobczak and Evan Pienta who came in 10 laps or so ago.
Yeah, they're going to...
these drivers. Go ahead.
I'm sorry, I was going to say, they're going to stay out here and get the wave around, but they're going to be on older tires, and they're going to have to start behind all these guys. So, yeah, this race is kind of like, or this turn of events has really, really, turned the race upside down for them, unfortunately.
Yeah, Justin Wilson looking like he's going to come off second. Hey, Chris Pierce, unique strategy, Chris. Chris stayed out. We had one car stay out. He is going to go to the lead now. He is on 70 lap old tire, so I don't know if he's looking just to lead this lap right now and maybe come in on the next lap. We do.
I think
do see him coming down pit road now, though.
Yeah, I think he was running almost. He was running like further back on the lead lap, so maybe he was thinking, I don't have anything to lose. I'm gonna stay out here and get a bonus point for leading the lap and take my, come in with all the lap down cars. But either that or he missed pit road the first time, which, we have definitely
It's definitely
done that
possible
before.
here.
Yeah.
It's definitely possible here.
It sneaks up on you really fast.
It really does. Regardless of it, he's going to get a bonus point for leading that lap right now. Jacob Bradley's your leader, Justin Wilson second, Ryan Jones third, Rady Bechtel fourth, Jeremy Gardner fifth. That's top five. Has stayed relatively calm all night long. Not a lot of shakeup in that top five, but we've seen comers and goers throughout the rest of the field. Pace car leading them right around the track right now after a lap 69 caution for a connection issue for Scotty Sobczak. That is, not Scotty Sobczak, Scott Tompkins. That's our first caution of the evening. So, Chris, we've talked all month long about just how much an improvement we've seen in this field. Even with 32 drivers still with us, consistently each week, we've seen on average about 2 cautions over the past 6 weeks or so. So kudos to these guys who are just getting better and better every single week and getting more and more comfortable with each other.
Yeah, we see
as we
these
watch
drivers
them
right
roll
here.
around right now.
We see these drivers right here take the wave around. Guys who are sitting in a little bit of a difficult spot right now. James Danforth is taking the wave around here, but he is on 71 lap old tires, so this is a very aggressive call on his part, hoping for a quick caution.
Yeah, he's got to be hoping for a quick yellow here. So
Daniel Rose,
he was
Scotty Sobczak,
he was running at the back, and like you said, these guys are looking for a break, looking for a change of fortune here right now. But right now, the fortune's belonging to Jacob Bradley. He was up by 5 seconds when that caution came out. Pace car is peeled off down the backstretch. We know the pace car comes in a little bit early here due to this slightly unique configuration. Jacob Bradley going to lead him down here into turns 3 and 4 as they head towards the flagman, who's going to wave the flag as soon as Jacob Bradley mashes the throttle in that Geico restart zone. We're back underway here on lap number 73 of 150, almost to the halfway point of the UD Awards 150. The battle's for second right now. Rye Jones working on the inside of Justin Wilson. That's going to open the door for Randy Bechtel, who's got a handful of Jeremy Gardner looking to take fourth position away from the driver of that number 51. The battle is on for fourth position as the drivers head down into turns 3 and 4 down towards the start-finish line, Chris.
Yeah, this battle right here, Jeremy Gardner's been really fast all night. I think that he just had the misfortune of not being able to clear a couple guys as quickly as he wanted to, and
we got a caution back here. Sean Johnson gets into the side of Chase Berry. No caution out. Johnson is going to hang on to it back there. That was about for the 8th or 9th position. Berry and Johnson had contact.
Oh yeah, they were 3 wide there. I think that Piper maybe caught Johnson by surprise coming back onto the track there from the flats, and everybody did a nice job there.
Yeah, we're lucky that he did not get into Piper and turn him up into the rest of the field. That could have been a really big caution. Heads up driving by slingshot newcomer Sean Johnson here on lap number 75. Great job of hanging on to that. Right now, Jacob Bradley leads the rest of the field by about 7 to 8 car lengths. Justin Wilson second, but this battle is heating up for third position, Chris. That number 5 has found some speed here halfway through the race. Oh, I saw some smoke down the front stretch. I'm not sure where that came from. But Gardner is going to work the outside line here. He's got a little bit different of approach to the corner. It's going to get him some momentum onto the backstretch, and he's going to work his way underneath Rye Jones headed into turns 3 and 4. He completes the pass, Chris, for third position. Jeremy Gardner working his way up through the field.
Yeah, he's being a lot more aggressive, I think, on this run. I think he realized what happened to him in the last run. He might have been a little bit more cautious, trying to wait on, the run to go. Man, Rye Jones has not given up that spot, though,
No,
as these
he
guys
does
are close
not
together.
want to give up the spot. Hard racing right now. Between the 91 and the 5, Jones and Gardner work their way down into turn 3 and 4. Jones not ceding the position. Gardner's got the outside momentum that might carry him off the corner. He's going to clear Jones, but Jones is going to take it back into the dogleg, at least briefly. And that battle looks to be settled, at least for the time being, here on lap number 78 of the UD Awards 150, Chris. Great racing going on throughout the field right now.
Yeah,
looking back racing. In the 10th position, Patrick Piper and Patrick Colby. Patrick Colby, just looking at some numbers for Patrick Colby, Chris, he has started on average 23rd in the past 3 races. You want to guess what his average finish is in these past 3 races?
I would venture to say it's probably really, really good.
It's 7th position. Yeah. He is actually our third place car, I believe, in the Apex Energy Hard Charger standings, where we compile the averages of positions gained in each race over the course of the season. And right now, Patrick Colby, I believe, has 10 positions on average he's picking up over the course of each race. So great run in that Alabama Crimson Tide car. Familiar sight. That car was in victory lane last week at Talladega. So Patrick Colby still riding the wave of that victory. And top 10 right now, the 9s and 9th.
Yeah, the Tide had a big victory over Wesley Pistol's Balls this past weekend, so...
I'm surprised we didn't hear more about that in the Discord chat over the course of the week. Because Wesley's not bashful to talk about Tennessee winning, but...
Yeah.
Man, It's I get it, though. I get it.
Yeah. Well, yeah, Patrick Colby really got saved by that caution. I think that he was pretty close to going a lap down there, and being buried deep in the field, he did not have the best track position to start out the race, and with the pace that Jacob Bradley was on, Patrick was in danger there, but that caution saved him. And same thing with the guy in front of him, Chase Berry. Chase Berry started deep in the field too, I believe, and he's currently running in the 8th spot.
Yeah, Chase, we talked about just not really having the season that he would like. Chase really not necessarily known for his short track racing in Slingshot Racing League. His average finish was a little bit lower than I would have imagined on short tracks over the course of his tenure in SRL. He has got an average finish of 68th. Does that surprise you?
A little bit. We saw him get the win earlier this year on a short track at Bristol. That does surprise me a little bit. But he's definitely showing that he's got what it takes tonight, and he's showing some pretty good speed right now.
Caution is out. I believe that was for
James
Patrick.
James Suggs and Patrick O'Toole.
So we'll see if we can pull that up on the replay. And that is some heavy damage, Chris, on the front end of that number 20 of Suggs. We're going to see if we take a look at what happened between these drivers.
Patrick O'Toole was in trouble there, and, unfortunately, I guess the tire was down, and, James Suggs was an innocent victim. We'll go back and we'll see what... We'll see what happened. Oh, yeah. So this is what I was talking about in the pre-race. You got to be very, very, aware of, the guy on the inside might not take the dogleg. He might not go down to the apron. I think Patrick O'Toole maybe thought James Ledford was going to do that. And
I think that he already had some right side damage. He'd gotten into the wall. If we went back to the start-finish line, you're talking about it. James Ledford and him come into contact with each other.
Yep. So that's I hate to see that for both those guys. I just think that Patrick thought that he was going to the flat, but as the driver on the inside, James Ledford, he does not have to do that. He does not have to do that, and Patrick had the wheel turn hard left here. We'll actually ride on board with him, and you can see. Well, it doesn't show it right there, but I have no doubt that Patrick O'Toole was trying everything he could to keep from wrecking James Suggs.
Yeah, and let me tell you, when you've got that damage and you're trying to turn, it is painful because as soon as you realize it's not going to turn, you're just holding on and hoping for the best and holding those brakes as much as you can. But it wasn't enough to keep him out of James Suggs there. We're under caution for the second time here in the UD Awards 150 for Slingshot Racing League in the Apex Energy Series. 86 of 150 laps down, Chris. Jacob Bradley is your leader. Justin Wilson second. Jeremy Gardner worked his way up to third before that caution. It doesn't look like we're going to see any pit stops here, at least amongst the leaders. So,
Jones did come, and he was running top 5. He elected to come. I think a lot of these guys who took the wave around, they elected to pit here to try to get on some fresher tires, get more in line with the leaders. Looks like everybody from about 10th on back maybe came to pit road there.
Scott Tompkins has entered the chat, and he's got a message. He said his children hit his monitors and shut one off. This led to all black screens and coming back to all 3 screens on one monitor.
Oh, no.
Oh, man, that is tragic. That is tragic. Patrick O'Toole in the chat says, thanks for James for costing me a finish. Patrick, I think you might want to watch the replay before you get in the chat, my friend. We're going to go ahead and give you a mute here for the time being. So take a look at that replay if you haven't already watched it, and take some time to cool down. And speaking of cool down, right now they're about to get heated back up because we are getting ready to go green. Lights are off on the pace car. We're going to peel in. We talked about how the pace car comes off the speedway on the backstretch. So Jacob Bradley going to lead him down the backstretch about half a lap away from this restart. We are over halfway through this race. Just 2 cautions over the course of the evening. Jacob Bradley and Justin Wilson are your 2 leaders. Jacob Bradley is your control car, which means he is going to be responsible for mashing the throttle and basically starting the race up once again when he hits this Geico restart zone. There it is. He mashes the throttle. The 60 goes, and we are back racing at Phoenix Raceway here for Slingshot Racing League in the Apex Energy Series. Justin Wilson second. Jeremy Gardner working on third. Randy Bechtel is outside. Gardner runs Bechtel up the track a little bit, not giving each other a lot of space here. Josh Ward watching on from
we got
the
a car
fifth
around.
position. Car down pit road. I don't
Patrick
know if it's
Piper.
going to bring out a caution. That is Piper, but we are green. I don't know if he got the wall. He hit the brakes before he got it. Great job on the driver of that number 38 to prevent any damage from his car. So we are still racing here. Gardner and Bechtel still going hard for that third position. This is the raciest we've seen these cars, Chris, all night long on the second restart of the evening. It's a gaggle of cars. I don't know which we should be watching right now.
Yeah, this battle right here is not going away. We've seen Jeremy Gardner and Josh Ward run a lot together in that earlier stint. Both those guys have some good. Here comes Ryan Jones on those fresh tires.
Look at that. Working another yellow flag out here. Looks like Kyle Dewey in the 33. I know we're going to have some Dewey fans who are not too pleased to see that. And that might not be correct, actually. Showed up on my screen for a second.
Oh, man. Patrick Colby. Yeah, Kyle Dewey was an innocent victim there. We'll see if we can find out what happened initially with... Okay, I think this is another miscommunication in the dog leg here. Chris Pierce on his outside. And, right reared him. I think that Chris Pierce just misjudged it. Maybe he anticipated Patrick Colby. I mean, you do have to turn down. You do have to turn down a little bit. Maybe he thought Patrick was going to be lower or closer to the yellow line than what he was. I could see that. But, it just looked like a miscommunication. Those guys get together, and, man, Patrick Colby ricochets down into Steve McDonald.
Header into the wall, and you mentioned he got into the 6 of Steve McDonald, and Kyle Dewey was kind of coming through that as well. Some heavy damage for several cars, Chris. We mentioned it. We went 71 laps without a caution flag, and we've had a spat of them here in the past 15 laps or so. 91 of 150 laps complete from Phoenix Raceway, and it looks like we're going to have some cars coming down pit road. Actually, I take that back. Jacob Bradley. Looking to see what happened to Bradley. He chose to come down pit road along with Randy Bechtel and Jeremy Gardner as well as Justin Wilson. So several cars coming in. Our leaders who are on fresh tires coming in. Rye Jones and Wesley Pistol as well as Pienta and Sobzak. Drivers who had already come for tires. You mentioned them earlier, Chris. They are on about 7 lap older tires. The exception to that is Wesley Pistol, who's got 22 laps on that set of tires.
Yeah, I was just about to say, right before that caution came out, that what Rye Jones wants is for this thing to go green to the end, because he had a pretty good tire advantage right there, and he was making up good time, and he was hoping for it to go green to the end because he was sitting in a really good spot. But unfortunately, the caution does come out. Cautions do breed cautions, and I still, if I'm Rye Jones, Evan Pienta up here, I still feel pretty good. Because I've only got 8 laps on and even Wesley Pistol. Wesley's got 23, but a lot of these have been caution laps. So, I'm not too upset. I'm not too disappointed. I think that I can live with that tire gap between that. And, Jacob Bradley's going to have to work his way through these guys if he wants to have a shot at the win.
Yeah, we have got a challenge ahead of us for Jacob Bradley in the 60. He has been the fastest car all night long, but due to this lap number 91 caution, he finds himself back in the 8th position with several cars with tires that aren't that much older than his in front of him. So he's going to have to get through 7 cars. Hinkle, really good run for Ryan Hinkle in the 19 car right now, running 7th, Johnny Rapp in 6th. Dan Rose worked his way up into 5th with that strategy call, Chris. So lots of drivers who have been running outside the top 10 tonight finding themselves right back up front a little bit of a change of fortune here for several drivers on lap number 93 of 150. Just 57 laps remaining. We're almost 2/3 of the way through the UD Awards 150. Looks like pace car lights are out, and we're on the 1 to go here. So, man, these restarts have been increasingly crazier and crazier as the evening has gone on. I'm curious to see what it looks like now, especially with cars who have been running up front with the speed tonight a little bit further back. How anxious are they going to be to work their way through the field, you would imagine?
Yeah, we're going to try to watch this from the drone perspective here on this restart. Give everybody a really good view of the field and how they're going to fan out here coming to the green flag.
Yeah, pace car is off on the backstretch. These drivers, Rye Jones will be the control car. He'll wait to hit that Geico restart zone labeled in blue. And as soon as he hits it, he can mash the throttle. We'll see how early he goes here. He approaches the line. Rye Jones with Wesley Pistol to his outside. He's going to go about middle of the way through. He's going to get a good jump on the rest of the field. The 91 is going to jump out along with Evan Pienta and the number 55, but don't wait too soon, because Dan Rowe in the number 68 in third position, working his way underneath the 7 of Wesley Pistol. Rowe up 2 positions on that restart, and Wesley Pistol in the 7, Chris, is having some trouble on this restart. He's got a gaggle of cars stacked up behind him. Hinkle on the inside in going for 5th underneath Scotty Sobzak. And if you're one of the leaders who are in this pack, you got to be nervous watching what you are watching right now, Chris. 3-4 wide. Randy Bechtel gets into Josh Ward. He's going to hold on to it. Jacob Bradley working his way underneath the 19 of the 52, threading the needle underneath those guys. This is crazy right now, ladies and gentlemen. Lap number 96, drivers headed down the backstretch, and the racing is getting more and more intense as the laps pass. Justin Wilson threading the needle between Scotty Sobzak and Wesley Pistol. What a move to get out in front of Jacob Bradley, at least for the time being.
Yeah, this restart has gone really well for Justin Wilson. Jacob Bradley was kind of hung on the outside, didn't have anywhere to go, was kind of boxed in. And Justin Wilson had that inside line and was able to make his way around a lot of these cars that Jacob Bradley still got trapped behind.
Yeah, Wesley Pistol on those old tires really struggling right now. He has lost at least 10 positions since the restart, Chris. And right now, Rye Jones is your leader. Evan Pienta just about 3 car lengths back, with Dan Rowe about a car length back. So the battle for the lead, despite all the action behind them, the battle of the lead is intensifying right here on lap number 98 of 150. And just to give you an update on where those early leaders are, Jacob Bradley, who's been the fastest car all night long, is sitting in 6th. So he's got 5 cars between him and the leader. So he's got a ways to go.
Yeah, and if you're Jacob Bradley, you want to say don't panic here. You don't want to panic. Obviously, this is the best time to get as many positions as you can, because we've seen how hard it is to pass here all night long.
It has been very difficult. We just talked about how someone can hang to your outside for at least a lap or two and let that momentum off the corner carry them. So it is very difficult to make a pass. Right now, Jacob Bradley's completed one of those passes on Scotty Sobzak, now with just 4 cars, and he's got some battles going on in front of him. Dan Rowe right on the left rear quarter panel of Evan Pienta, going for 2nd position right now. This is the highest we've seen Dan Rowe be all night long after starting in the 11th position and sliding back a position or 2. He's back up to 3rd.
Jacob
Bradley and Justin Wilson. Contact between the Payday Racing teammates in turns 3 and 4. Jacob Bradley going to take the dog leg here and see if he can clear Justin Wilson, but we talked about that momentum on the outside line. Bradley pushing up into the 58. He steers clear of them this time, Chris, but right in front of them, the battle for the lead, about a car length separate 1st, 2nd, and 3rd position. Evan Pienta working on the back bumper of the number 91, so racing is quite good all over the track right now. Just crossed lap 101 of 150, just a third of this race left. Dan Rowe trying to get to the inside of Evan Pienta, taking that dog leg. It's going to allow Justin Wilson to close on the back bumper of him.
Yeah,
right now he's...
he was very aggressive with the dog leg, like you mentioned, and it kind of messed him up a little bit on corner entry, and Justin Wilson was able to gain some ground. That's the risk that you run trying to run down there.
It is absolutely the risk you run. It's a risk versus reward situation here, depending on what corner we're talking about. Dan Rose still taking that dog leg, trying to get some momentum on the number 55 of Evan Pienta. Lovely Days in the chat says, good climb for Dick Cesare up to 12th right now, battling with Wesley Pistol for the 12th position. He's on the inside. This is a good little battle going back here between DeCesare, Chase Berry, and Wesley Pistol. DeCesare on the inside back in the 13th position. Pistol on the outside. Nick DeCesare in those Sunoco colors in that 00. I know he's got some fans watching in the chat right now who noticed he was moving up through the field right now. He's lost a couple of spots, though, to Wesley Pistol and Chase Berry. So hopefully he can settle in here and right the ship, so to speak, for that 00.
Yeah,
going back up to the front, things have not settled down. Go ahead, Chris.
Yeah, he's the 68 of Rowe has lost a couple spots, but see if he can get back after it here.
Yeah, he has worked those tires really hard on that initial restart in those first 6 or 7 laps or so, and maybe paying the price a little bit. Dan Rowe is right now on lap 105. Jeremy Gardner as well as Jacob Bradley got by him. Justin Wilson now working on second place. A little bit of contact there between Wilson and Pienta. Headed down into turn 3 and 4. Justin Wilson has been the really second fastest car all night long. Now he slides back into second. Jacob Bradley's going to try to follow him through. If not, make an aggressive pass here for second position on Wilson himself. But right now, Bradley's got Evan Pienta to his outside. Again, we talked about it all night long. Completing a pass is hard. It's easy to get loose down there on the inside. And we talked about all sorts of possibilities for miscommunication in the dog leg here, which these guys are going to be coming up on in just a moment. But Bradley's going to complete the pass before he has to worry about that. Now Gardner's working on Evan Pienta for the 4th position. 107 laps in the books here from Phoenix and Slingshot Racing League. Rye Jones still your leader, but he's got his payday teammate Justin Wilson just about 5 or 6 car lengths back right now. If Justin Wilson's going to catch him, he's got about 43 laps to make it happen, Chris. I'm just looking at lap times. That last lap, Justin was about half a tenth faster than Rye Jones. So he's got a little bit of speed on him right now, but Wilson's going to have to worry about Bradley here before too long.
Yeah, he is, and we've seen these guys be very close on speed at a lot of tracks. I think that Jacob Bradley has had the edge on Justin here tonight as far as like overall race pace goes. But you know, they're still really, really close. So this is not going to be an easy pass for Jacob to make.
No, not an easy pass at all. Again, once you start getting towards the faster cars, battle for the lead right now heats up. Justin Wilson almost into the back bumper of Rye Jones in that number 91 car, Chris. He is going to be looking to make a pass here down into turn 3 and 4. Rye Jones is going to keep that door closed, though, on the inside, but you can see it. The number 58 just able to roll through the corner just a little bit better, and Wilson strategically backs out as Rye Jones takes the dog leg, but it looks like that 58 car is rolling just a little bit better right now than the 91.
Yeah, he's just getting through the center a little bit better, and yeah, I mean, like it's not going to be an easy pass though. I mean, there are no easy passes here at Phoenix. We've said it all night. It's very, very difficult to complete a pass. It's even difficult like when you get side by side with that guy, because that guy can just, keep the car wound up on that high side and, keep on generating momentum. But the way that the track is shaped, especially down here on this end, it's almost like a double apex, and you can utilize that momentum to get down this back straightaway.
Yeah, absolutely. Momentum, as you mentioned, is key here. And of all the drivers I think are going to be hardest to pass on the track, Chris, I think Justin Wilson's got him looking out of his windshield right now. That 91 Rye Jones, not an easy pass. Never takes a position for granted right now. Justin Wilson just biding his time, but he's got Jacob Bradley and Jeremy Gardner behind him. So how long can you really wait if you're Justin Wilson? I suspect that his patience is going to wear pretty thin before too long, because he has been running faster laps now by about a tenth for the last. Actually, no, that lap Rye Jones was actually just a little bit faster. So
Jacob Bradley a little bit loose there off of turn 4, but he He holds onto it very nicely there and doesn't really lose any ground.
All right, we got to do first time chat. Ajar says this is some good racing, not going to lie. Hey, we appreciate it. We think so too. We appreciate you joining the chat and watching. So thanks for joining. We hope you like what you're seeing. And right now, Rye Jones likes what he's seeing, and that is no cars in front of him, but he does have a big a mirror full of Justin Wilson in that second position. Just about a car leak. Oh, Wilson almost into the back bumper of that number 91 who slides up the track. We mentioned it, handling really coming into play here, Chris. Rye Jones just not as good through the corners here in about 22 laps, or now 30 laps for Rye Jones on this set of tires. He's got about 8 laps more on this set. A little bit more tire wear. He cuts right in front of that 58 to take the dog leg, strategically not leaving the inside line open, but it might come back to bite him here.
He packs it in, and if he can keep position here on the outside, I think he's gonna complete the pass.
It's gonna definitely set him up for the momentum here through the dog leg. Rye is definitely gonna cut it down into turns 3 and 4. We'll see what he does on the front straightaway here. Wilson's going to get that momentum, and better yet, it's going to give Jacob Bradley an opening to see if he can work back on the number 91 here for second place. You see Rye Jones pack it into turn 3 and 4 here. Jacob Bradley still on that outside. Bradley going to get some momentum off the corners. They head down the backstretch into turns 3 and 4. Rye Jones. Bradley has to swerve up the track to avoid the back bumper of Justin Wilson here. Just about 35 laps to go, which is why you're seeing a sense of urgency on a lot of these drivers' part right now. Jacob Bradley really drove it hard into that corner. And right now, these are your first 2 runners in the championship standings. Just in reverse order. Justin Wilson, your leader, is second in the points. Jacob Bradley is your leader. So this is an opportunity for Justin to maybe pick up a couple of points on Jacob Bradley and just slowly chip away at that championship lead if he can hold on to first place for the win tonight with just about 34 laps left in this race. Looking through the field, see if we've got any other close battles going on. Evan Pienta, Josh Ward, and Scotty Sobczak. Tight battle back here for 5th position, Chris. Josh Ward holding on to it right now. Evan in 6th, Scotty in 7th. About a car length between each one of these drivers right now.
Yeah.
Justin Wilson almost hits Clint Walker on the front straightaway, Chris. Sorry to jump away there for a second, but it's going to open the door for Jacob Bradley, who's really loose down in the corner, to potentially make a move for the lead here. I don't know quite what happened between the 02 and the 58 there, but I saw them come together out of the corner of my eye, and I noticed that the momentum of Justin Wilson diminished immensely.
Yeah, it looked like Clint Walker just did not go out towards the wall, just did not use up all the racetrack, and Justin was committed to the throttle and was just expecting the 02 to use up all the track there, and man, that could have been a lot worse.
It could have been a lot worse. And a couple questions in the chat right now from Ajar. He says, when was the last pit stop? It was on lap 92, and everyone should be good to go on fuel from this point forward. So it's going to be just hard-nosed racing for the rest of this race between these leaders to answer those questions we had in the chat. Hey, let us know who you're rooting for. What driver, what car number are you going to be pulling for the rest of the race? Let us know in the YouTube and Twitch chats right now as we watch Jacob Bradley continue to work the back bumper of that number 58. And that is a different paint scheme, Chris. A little different this week, black and orange versus purple and green that we're used to seeing. Any idea what's going on with that?
Yeah, I think that the message on the rear bumper right here tells it all. I think it's a little bit of a Halloween theme, a little bit of a boo on the rear bumper right there with the llama. So yeah, I think that just getting in the spirit of things a week early.
I definitely knew that. I just wanted to see it.
Oh yeah.
Rye Jones working on Jacob Bradley right now. Bradley lose a little bit of ground. They're lost about half a tenth on that last lap to Justin Wilson. Right now, about a car length separates first and second, and another car length is behind, back to third place with Rye Jones. Jeremy Gardner kind of holding station, about 5 car lengths back behind Rye Jones in fourth. The rest of the top 10 looks like they're single file right now. Just working my way through the rest of the field. Everyone kind of holding station right now. We've got about 123 laps in the book, 28 to go. Everyone just wants to get to the finish of this one with some crazy restarts over the past 20 laps or so.
Yeah, a big loser on that restart. You know, you mentioned the trouble that Randy Bechtel had, making a nice save to hold on to his car, but unfortunately, like, he's been running up there with Rye Jones and Jacob Bradley and Justin Wilson all night long as payday teammates.
Oh, man, Jacob Bradley really cooked it down in there into the corner on 3 and 4, and he lost a lot of time. Sorry to interrupt there, but huge mistake. I noticed Bradley's driving an Chris a lot harder than Justin Wilson right now.
Yeah, he is, and the attitude of the car tells me that he has got a lot of rear brake into it. He's dialed a lot of front brake out of it. He's trying to get the car to turn in the center of the corner, get the car to turn under braking, because I've seen that car yawed out slightly on corner entry a couple times here, and we're coming down to it.
Coming down to it, just about 25 laps to go. People said Ayajar says he's got his popcorn in the chat right now. He says it's going to get crazy. The tire fall off is going to continue to get worse as the leaders work their way by the 42 of Tony Caputo. On the outside, they're given a pretty wide berth, but I'm noticing Jeremy Gardner coming back into the picture a little bit here. Josh Ward sitting there in 5th position. Good top 5 for the driver of the number 57 going right now. Just looking through the rest of the field to see what other action we've got going on. We'll make sure we give everyone a little bit of attention here. Chris, I want to point out Paul Thomas running in the 22nd position right now, 3 laps down, but this just shows you what sticking around, running laps can do. Paul staying out of everyone's way. He's a little bit slower here, but giving the leaders wide berth. He's got a 22nd place run going right now after starting 27th. Definitely one of the better runs we've seen Paul have this season in that Motorcraft number 40 car. So good run for Paul Thomas. And I'm not saying that just because he's my dad, but he's doing a really good job out there tonight. So go get him, Dad. Good job. Clint Walker running 23rd. We saw him have some issues earlier on. Steve McDonald trying to work his way back after getting involved in that last caution lap. Several drivers we mentioned were involved in those incidents earlier tonight. So there's been a good bit of attrition, more so than we've had the past couple of weeks, Chris.
Yeah, we see this battle going on right here for the 9th spot with Daniel Rowe and Johnny Rapp. Johnny Rapp getting hung up.
Oh, Rowe and Caputo have a little bit of contact there on the exit of turn 2.
Yeah, that 42 car is moving around a lot on the exit of the corners, and that was really, really sketchy there, but they hold on to it nicely, and Tony gives these guys a lot of room and tags a wall right there going into turn 1. But yeah, we saw Randy Bechtel make his way around these guys. Randy's made a nice little rebound up in the 8th spot after his trouble on that restart.
Yeah, Randy doing a good job. We saw him have a very close call about 25 laps ago. He's since held on and come back to fight up to the top 8 right now. Justin Wilson is increasing his lead with just about 20 laps to go. Justin is out to about an 8-car length lead over the number 60 of Jacob Bradley. Rye Jones holding station in 3rd. Jeremy Gardner 4th. Josh Ward is in 5th. Evan Pienta 6th. Scotty Sobzak in 7th. I know we've got some Sobzak fans watching along on YouTube right now, so shout out to them. Dan Rowe running in 9th. Johnny Rapp in 10th position. Bob says, hang in there, Johnny. Johnny's had a kind of an up and down night. Started 5th, he's down to 10th. Trying to work his way back up in the field. And I haven't seen as much speed out of Johnny as I expected to see tonight. He's got an average finish of 7th on the short tracks. And I go, he's running 10th right now. It's a solid night, but he was a little bit faster in practice, so I know he's probably wishing he were a little bit further up there right now based on those practice speeds. Good looking paint scheme though. This is always one of our favorites to see out on this track, this Mission Barbecue. Iconic orange, black, and neon green numbers in that 52 car, Chris.
Yeah, it's a good-looking ride, and I know Johnny's wanting to hang on here for a top 10. He's wanting to gain a spot here on the 68 of Daniel Rowe. He's got a lot of pressure behind him in the 32 of Sean Johnson, who has had a great Slingshot Racing League debut.
Yeah, he has had a really good Slingshot racing debut. Couldn't really ask for much better. Sitting in there in 11th. Scott Tompkins in the chat says, how is Ryan Hinkle doing? To answer that question, he is running 15th right now, exactly where he started. So a fairly uneventful night. I know he had some trouble earlier in the race, lost some positions, but he's worked his way back up to 15th. I know he found himself a little bit higher after that pit road strategy. But right now, solid top 15 going for Ryan Hinkle in that number 19 car. He's put together some good finishes lately. We've seen him improve immensely over the course of the season. He had some really bad luck at the beginning of the season. So great work for Ryan Hinkle tonight so far. 16 laps remaining in the UD Awards 150 here from Slingshot Racing League in the Apex Energy Series. Justin Wilson is your leader. And Chris, Jacob Bradley's closed the gap just a little bit as they work their way through a little bit of lap traffic. Jacob has found some speed here. They ran about identical times the last lap, so that gap has shrunk from about 6 car lengths to really less than 2 car lengths now. That 40 or that 60 car is coming.
It is, and I think that we saw Jacob Bradley cook the tires a few times, like charging the corner on corner entry, and I think that got him in trouble. I think that he was probably pushing a little bit too hard. He backed it down for several laps there, tried to cool his tires off. And I think that this is his charge right here to see if he can do anything with his teammate Justin Wilson.
Yeah, just let those tires cool off a little bit, collect your breath, collect your emotions. And Jacob Bradley making another charge here. Both of these drivers are on 45-lap old tires, so identical tire wear, or at least identical tire life on these tires. The wear might be a little bit different based on some of the charges we've seen Jacob Bradley make. Right now, the lead is going by James Suggs in the 20. They just worked their way by Christopher Blassie in the 15th. And right now, it's anyone's guess who's going to win this race. Coming to about 12 to go here at Phoenix Raceway in the Slingshot Racing League. Chris, we've had some great racing tonight. Phoenix is never a ride-off race, but I think I've seen some of the best racing, certainly this season, but I think I've seen some of the best racing I've seen at Phoenix tonight here in this Apex Energy Series race.
Yeah, I think it kind of gets a little bit of a bad rap because a couple of the real-life races have not been so good in recent years, but I've always enjoyed racing this track, and I've always enjoyed watching races here, and our Slingshot drivers have not disappointed tonight. They put on a really good show.
Yeah, we are going to have plenty of material for some YouTube shorts and video clips over the course of the coming week. Right now, I know Justin Wilson hoping he's going to be in one of those video clips as the winner. He's got about 11 laps left if he is going to do that. He's got about 3 car lengths on Jacob Bradley here. He's extended that lead, and right now, if this thing stays green, I think it's a 2-car battle. Rye Jones sitting back in there in 3rd place, and man, that's been the story of Rye Jones' season, Chris. It's just been 3rd places and 4th places. It's what's gotten him into the 3rd position in the point standings, but I know he has got to be getting frustrated with not being able to work his way into victory lane yet. And he missed a good opportunity at Talladega, and I know that was pretty frustrating for him, but he's done a good job of coming back tonight and kind of setting that aside and running another good complete race with to this point, obviously 10 laps left, no mistakes. So right now, Rye Jones sitting in that 3rd position, really good run going for him tonight.
Yeah, he was just one caution away, I think, from having a really, really good call. I think if that last caution did not come out and we had this long green stretch that we're currently on right here, and he was going to be sitting in a really, really good spot. So, yeah, it's still a good run, though.
Yeah, still a solid run. Cautions didn't fall the way he needed them to tonight, but Rye Jones having a pretty good evening. Hey, another good evening going on for a couple of cars we saw have issues earlier on. 17th place, Jacob Chase right now in that number 43. We saw him about Bennett or put it in the wall in the first 15 or 20 laps of the race in that number 43. He's gathered it back up to be in a top 20 position right now, running 17th. in that teal and black car. That's a good-looking paint scheme. Those colors just work well together. Jacob Chase, we've seen him have some strong runs over the course of the season. Tonight, probably not as high as he would like to be, but still a solid 17th place finish going for Jacob Chase. We've seen him have some really good runs over the course of the season, and not bad tonight for the driver of that number 43. So right in front of him, James Danforth in the 88, the guy who's become known for those killer saves. Obviously, you don't want to be in a position where you got to save a race car in the first place, but that 88 has had some brilliant car control over the course of the season. Right now, sitting in the 16th position. Another good-looking paint scheme, that yellow and black number 88. I'm partial to Dale Jr. By the way, does that look blue or black? Am I missing that? I've always thought it's black, but now I'm seeing it as blue.
I think it's blue. Yeah, I think
okay.
It's blue.
Well, I'm a tad colorblind, so
it's just a really dark blue.
Yeah, I'm having a hard time reading that one. But Justin Wilson, Chris, is still up by about 4/10. That's about 8 car lengths right now. He's pulling away a little bit. I think any tire that Jacob Bradley had left, he's probably used it up by now with just about 5 laps left. I think Bradley might have used the stuff up.
Yeah, I think so. He made that charge like we were talking about, you know. He was using his tires really hard, and then he cooled them down. He made that charge up to him, and once he got up to the rear bumper at about that, 10th and a half to 2/10 back, it just seemed like that was about as close as he could get, and Justin has slowly opened it back up here.
Yeah, Randy Bechtel and Scotty Sobczak, battle going on for 7th right now as the lead stretches a little bit. Randy on the inside here in that number 51, Scotty Sobczak in the 81 on the outside. And one point that Ayajar made in the chat is he said top 5 is huge for point standings. Every little position matters. Right now, Randy Bechtel trying to work over Scotty Sobczak for that 7th position. This is a battle that is also going on in the point standings right now between these drivers. And we mentioned how close things are, really 3rd through 8th, and one point can make the difference for these guys. So hard racing going on here between the 51 and the 81. 81 a little bit loose there in that corner. Randy Bechtel going to try to take advantage of it, but again, it's been great racing all night long. You mentioned Slingshot Racing did not disappoint tonight. I couldn't agree more.
Yeah, and Jacob Bradley closed up on him that lap just a little bit. Ran really close to lap times. Man, Jacob Bradley is sending it into the corners. He's gaining a ton of ground on corner entry, making Justin Wilson look, trying to pressure Justin into a mistake. He hasn't made one yet, though.
No mistakes for Justin Wilson, but you mentioned it. You can see that gap, that space between the cars shrink right now. Justin Wilson coming by for the white flag here at Phoenix Raceway, just a lap away from his 4th win of the season. Justin Wilson trying to hold off the number 40 or the number 60 of Jacob Bradley, half a lap away. He's going to stretch his lead here going into turn 3 and 4. We'll see if Jacob Bradley can close it just a little bit, Chris, but Justin Wilson has been scary fast all night long in that number 58. He's going to take that Halloween paint scheme to victory lane tonight. Justin Wilson wins the UD Awards 150 for the Apex Energy Series and Slingshot Racing League here at Phoenix Raceway. Jacob Bradley's going to be 2nd. Rye Jones is going to be your final podium finisher tonight. Jeremy Gardner brought home a nice 4th place finish. Josh Ward rounds out your top 5. I'm going to take a second away here, and we'll be back right on the other side of... Actually, yeah, we'll go ahead and pull him in the Discord here. We'll hear from your top 3 finishers. Rye Jones will be first. Give us a second to pull him into the Discord. You're going to watch Justin Wilson come by and maybe take a couple of victory donuts here at the start-finish line. All right, Rye Jones, driver of the number 91 car, 3rd place finish tonight. I know it's not what you wanted, man, but how you doing tonight?
Yeah, that kind of sucked, but I mean, I can't really be mad about a 3rd place. It's kind of hard to get these themselves, so I don't know. Bunch of credit goes to Justin and Jacob. They're just really good. They had maybe like 6 lap fresher tires than me, and once Justin got around me on the outside, I knew it was going to be really hard to pass, catch them up. Like I know Jacob was struggling with the same thing to try and get around Justin, and so it's just really hard. Like for people watching, I really hope they understand like how hard it is to do this. I mean, I know you're on a simulator and you're looking at monitors, but this is as close to the real thing as we can get. And it's a lot of fun. It is a lot of fun, and I hate that I couldn't get a win. I'm trying so hard. I'm practicing with Jacob and Justin. I am happy to be there with them, but hopefully one of these days I can come out ahead of them.
Man, it's going to happen. I really firmly believe it's going to happen before the end of the season. We felt like you're in a good position there late in the race at about the 2/3 mark, and then that caution came out that you were not looking for, and that was kind of the nail in the coffin, I guess, in terms of that strategy you had going. So, man, you couldn't have done much better tonight. You can't control when the cautions come out. So, great job. You got any shout-outs before we let you go?
Well, shout out to you guys, of course, and shout out to all my teammates, Justin, Jacob, Randy, Chase, and Johnny, just everybody with the payday. It's really fun racing with these guys. I feel like we're all top notch, and just this whole league as themselves. Everybody does a really good job, and yeah, like you said, just had it just stayed green after I pitted, man, I think I could have had it, but that's all right. We'll enjoy the break for Halloween and try and do what we can at Road America.
All right, man. Good luck. We'll see you next week. Rye Jones in the number 91, your third place finisher tonight. All right, so that was your third place finisher. Second place is Jacob Bradley. We're going to get him in the chat right now. All right, Jacob Bradley is here.
Jacob Bradley, second place finisher tonight. This is Slingshot Booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, I got you guys.
And the first half of this race, man, it looked like it was all yours. I think I made the comment to Ellis that Jacob Bradley's putting a whooping on the field tonight in the early stages there. But we got that caution, and you guys got buried a little bit in traffic right there. Was it just the lane choice that kind of did you in a little bit there, or being stuck in the outside lane there on the restart?
Outside lane didn't help, but Justin was really good getting through all the traffic. Once he got ahead of me, I tried really hard to get back around him because I knew once we were in clean air, it would be really, really hard to pass him as we were pretty similar pace. Once you're within like a tenth or two, you aren't going to be able to pass. But he got through the field a lot better, and I wasn't able to get back around him, so that's just how it went out.
Yeah, we saw you trying really, really hard. We saw you trying some things on corner entry there. With about 25 to go, and it looked like you backed off just a little bit to maybe make a final charge right there to cool your tires off. Is that what happened?
Yeah, a couple times I just tried to back up a little bit, keep the tires a little bit cool, and then try again, because if I just stayed right on them, I was going to cook them. The right front was hitting 300 pretty much for everybody here today. It was a pretty hot track. So I gave it a couple more tries, and right rear was kind of burnt by that point, so it was just kind of sliding. But it was a fun race. I had a lot of fun. This track's really difficult to drive, and that played out for a lot of us.
Yeah, it is. It's very difficult, especially in these cars. And you did a great job all night, had great speed, and it's a really good points day for you. Good rebound from Talladega last week. Any shout-outs that you want to give before we let you go?
Yeah, I want to thank my parents for watching the broadcast. I want to thank Johnny Rapp for the scheme. I haven't thanked him for doing the base scheme on any of these broadcasts. They really should have. But he also did this Home Depot scheme. He did it because he bought me Road America, and he told me he was going to make me a Home Depot car to have to run. And I thought I'd bring it out 1 week early for Halloween here. Almost got a win. I want to thank all the payday guys for everything they do during the week. They all make each other better on that team, and I want to thank you guys for doing the broadcast.
Man, we want to thank you. You did a great job all night. Jacob Bradley, your second place finisher. Congratulations, bud.
Thanks.
All right, we're going to go ahead and bring in winner Justin Wilson into the booth right now. Justin Wilson, driver the number 58. This is Ellis and Chris in the Slingshot booth. Do you copy?
Yeah, I got a copy, boss.
Well, you're in victory lane there, literally physically in the victory lane at Phoenix Raceway. Congratulations on your win, man. It wasn't certain. It wasn't a guaranteed deal. Usually when we see you win these things, you're out front much of the evening, but tonight you didn't get there until later on. You were fast all evening, but talk to us a little bit about that first strategy turn where you found yourself back in 7th, 8th position and had to work your way through the field. Those were some crazy restarts going on there for a couple of laps. Talk to us about how you threaded your way through. I saw that you made one really aggressive pass. I think it was between the 19 and the 81 where you threaded the middle, taking them 3 wide, and you got through there. Talk to us a little bit how anxious you might have been for those few laps.
Well, I don't know. We were not fastest by no means. We were 0.2 a lap slower, it seemed like, than Jacob. So Jacob had the speed, but we knew when those guys pitted on that first yellow and realized, because the plan was to pit, but when we caught the pace car right in one is when the pit road opened, and caught me sleeping because I would have pitted then too, but it actually paid off for us because we pitted on the next yellow, and I didn't realize those 6-7 lap difference of tires made a difference because we were able to easily kind of make our way through the field. Ryan did really well saving his stuff up front, so put up a bit of a struggle trying to get by him, but I just knew no matter what I did, I had to keep Jacob behind me because as soon as he passed me, I had nothing for him. I think the dirty air probably had something to do with it, but he was 0.2 a lap faster the whole race. So weird how it all played out, but it played out for us, so I'm happy.
Man, you did an excellent job. You made some daring moves all night long. You had a new paint scheme tonight that I knew was definitely Halloween inspired with that orange and black. And we said as you're crossing the line, you were scary fast. So congratulations, man. I know this is not going to give you quite the bump in points that you're looking for, but just chipping away at it slowly but surely. You're definitely still within striking distance. So we're looking forward to seeing this championship battle continue over the course of the rest of the season. You got any shout-outs tonight before we let you go?
Oh, no, yeah. I want to thank you guys for putting the show on, obviously, letting me join this season for the series. Randy for painting the paint scheme. We decided to do a Halloween theme since we weren't racing next week, so we do it this week. We're going to enjoy the week off and get ready for that road course. I do like running road courses. Absolutely. Road America headed our way next week, so making some right-hand turns. I know that you were fast at Montreal, so we'll look to see if you can continue that speed at Road America next week. So Justin Wilson, winner of the UD Awards 150 at Phoenix. Congratulations, man. Go celebrate with your team. We will, man. Come celebrate
awesome.
with us.
Hey, we'll be there. All right, Chris. This I'm telling you, this race again, Phoenix is a bit of a sleeper in the sense that in real life we've seen maybe the racing be not as great here, but tonight I would rank it maybe top 3 races we've seen all season for Slingshot Racing League with the racing that we saw going on. We saw just a couple of crashes, some close calls. In fact, a lot of good saves over the course of the evening. Lots of passes. Outside of Talladega, this is probably going to be the most passes we've seen to this point in the season. So just recapping the results there, we've already kind of gone through the top 10. Evan Pienta brought it home 6th place. He was running in the top 10 most of the evening. Randy Bechtel fought back for an 8th place finish. Sean Johnson, first Slingshot race out, top 10. So good job to him. Anyone else standing out here for you in the top 10, Chris?
Yeah, Jeremy Gardner with a great run today. He had top 5 speed the whole race, and thought he did a really, really nice job. And just echo what you said, Sean Johnson. That's started top 10, finished top 10, really steady all race, and thought he did a nice job. And Randy Bechtel with a nice recovery. He was outside the top 10 after that last restart and battled back through as many people as he could.
Yeah, did a really good job. Just looking at 10th or 11th rather through 20th here. Dan Rowe fought back. Wesley Pistol fought back after having some issues throughout the race. Chris Pierce, I know we saw him have some contact with Patrick Colby, finishes 13th. Ryan Hinkle, shout out to the driver that at number 14 good job. This is one of his best finishes of the season, top 15. Great job for him. Nick DeCesare was kind of an up and down kind of night for that driver of the Sunoco car, but brings it home for a 15th place finish. I know we've got some DeCesare fans in the chat. James Danforth, also great finish. A lot of these guys that needed a good finish tonight got one. James Ledford, we saw him have some issues with Patrick O'Toole earlier in the race that brought out our first caution. He finishes 18th. And then the CNL Racing teammates, Chris Blassie and Lee Campbell, bring it home in 19th and 20th.
Yeah, and you mentioned it before. You look at that page right there, and you see there's correlation a little bit in the where the drivers start and where the drivers finish, with the exception of a couple of guys. Nick DeCesare, James Danforth gaining double-digit positions, James Ledford as well. So, great job by those guys to come from deep in the field with starting positions a little bit further down.
Yeah, and then 21st shout out. We mentioned it earlier in the race. Paul Thomas. I know it's my dad, but this is a season high for Paul, finishing in 21st. Stuck it out, ran consistent laps, stayed out of trouble, stayed out of the way of the leaders, brings it home in the 21st position. Tony Caputo, we saw him have some trouble over the course of the evening. He found himself finishing in the 22nd position. Clint Walker finished 23rd. A couple of good finishes for those guys. James Suggs, I know it's not the third place from Talladega last week. He's probably going to be disappointed, but he found himself involved in some trouble, not of his own making earlier on in the race with that heavy contact about halfway through the race. James Suggs finished a couple of laps down in the 25th position. Chase Berry, I think, had some late race trouble, Chris, despite running in the top 10 for a portion of the race. Finishes 26th. I know we got some Dewey fans who watch the races. He finishes 27th after having some issues with the Scott Tompkins connection/monitor debacle earlier in the race. And then Patrick Piper and Patrick O'Toole, as well as Patrick Colby. Man, 3 Patricks in a row there. And it was not a good night for Patricks. They'll look to rebound at Road America. But 28th, 29th, and 30th for the 3 Patricks. And then 31st and 32nd, respectively, Daniel Berg and Scott Tompkins. Both of those drivers having issues earlier on in the race. You can see finishing several laps down. Man, it was a good race tonight. Just to reiterate, we saw it all. We saw some wrecks. Not that we want to see wrecks, but it's a natural part of racing. We saw a lot of passing. And a lot of speed, a lot of saves, a lot of good just race car skills on display tonight. We're almost 2/3 of the way through this season. Championship battle is tightening up just a little bit between Justin Wilson and Jacob Bradley. You've got 100 points or less separating the top 7 in points. So things are ratcheting up just a little bit here after the UD Awards 150. Slingshot Racing League, man, we've got some exciting stuff going on tomorrow night. We're kicking off a fall super speedway classic series. 5 different stock cars on 5 different super speedways over the course of 5 weeks to test drivers' high speed skill, so to speak. We'll be broadcasting those races same place on our YouTube and Twitch on Wednesday nights for the next 6 weeks at 8:30 Eastern Time, just like the races that you saw tonight. So tune in tomorrow night, watch them on demand on YouTube as well as Twitch. And again, our viewers are what make this possible. Everyone in the chat, we have active chats every week. Hey, next week we might even give it away a diecast in the chat. We'd like to reward our viewers for tuning in, and can't thank you enough for tuning in tonight to Slingshot Racing League. Like and subscribe to the video if you haven't already done so. Chris, I appreciate you being here, and we'll look forward to Road America coming up here in a couple of weeks. So any last parting thoughts of wisdom before we pack it up here at Phoenix?
Just how impressed I am with the drivers in this series. You mentioned we're almost 2/3 of the way through this season, and man, with the way that the season started, I never would have guessed that we would have made it this far. With this the big turnaround that we've had as far as driver etiquette. We haven't had that many cautions either, so I've been super impressed with that. We've come a long way. Our drivers have come a long way, and yeah, I'm looking forward to Road America. We haven't ever been there in Slingshot before, and that's a great road course, beautiful road course. Always puts on a really good show, so I'm excited to see it.
It does put on a really good show, and that's 2 weeks away. We're taking an off week for Halloween to let the kids go trick-or-treating. We'll catch y'all hopefully tomorrow night. Again, my name is Ellis Thomas, joined by Chris Smith in the booth for Slingshot Racing League and the Apex Energy Series. Everyone have a good night.